Rai Flores.
Rai Flores, how old are you and what village do you live in?
I'm currently 16 years old from the village of Barragata.
Rai, do you consider yourself an athlete?
Very much so. I love to think I'm an athlete.
Or like, what is your mentality when you think of athlete?
Well, when I think of athlete, I think of someone who's really dedicated to a sport, who can put a lot of energy towards that and know that they need to hold themselves to a certain level to compete properly. And so when I think of an athlete, I don't think of just easy, like recreational, just fun. I think of more like professional, but the word athlete really is just anyone who likes to participate in a sport. You can be a student athlete and just join a soccer team for your school. Anyone's really an athlete as long as you put time towards a certain activity. Years ago, the way I started was swimming. My dad was a whole Olympic swimmer. He did all that stuff, and so my mom was a paddler. You know, water sports was really intertwined with our lives, and so my dad pushed us to swim. So it started out swam in Alaska, came to Guam, swam in Guam, all over, but I just got bored of it, honestly. And so I wanted to do something more exciting for me. I joined soccer, did volleyball, you know, all the standard school sports, and that really just helped get me moving. Until one day my mom pushed me. I didn't want to, but she said I had to, and so I had to because my mom told me. And I went to Sindalu Siha. I went to Ninja, this Ninja Warrior thing, like the show American Ninja Warrior, and I tried it out, and man, it was so fun. Just moving around, just getting tired, but enjoying it. It was so fun. And from there, I did that for years. I joined rock climbing. So now Ninja Warrior and rock climbing are my main sports because they translate well, upper body strength and movement. So that's what I love to do. I do it 6 days a week.
Holy crap. This is like your playtime pretty much then.
It really is. It's just a big jungle gym, little playground that I get to do, well, you know, with a good reason. Building a team, the rock climbing team, the ninja team, it's one of the main things that can keep you going. So easily I find a community. Go to the rock climbing gym, there's going to be people there, right? First day, you're all nervous. Nah, people will see you. You can climb whatever you do. It's all about how much you can push, and people will cheer you on for that. There's always going to be people talking. That's one reason I love the rock climbing gym. I go there sometimes, and I don't even think I'm going to climb. I just go there because I know I'm going to have a lot of good friends there that are going to give me a good time, and it's lovely because everyone's so different. It's really just a nice little melting pot where everyone can convey their different ideas, and you just have a lovely time. You're all just there to enjoy climbing. Everyone's a great person. What do I eat? Woo! Well, what I should eat is a lot of healthy things. You know, even if I don't do sports, gotta stay healthy. I can't get too much, junk food in the diet. But usually what I eat is I try and obviously hit the protein. I gotta get protein shakes. I gotta add my little protein powder and then some like little greens in there. Fruits. I love fruits because though I have to stay healthy for these sports, I mean, it's honestly bad to hold yourself to such a really strict standard because then you take out the fun of it and then there's no point anymore. If you're only there to win it, it's really no point. You win it because you love it so much that you want those little warts to show that you care. And so what I do is fruits are so good. They're sweet, they're delicious, and they're still pretty healthy for you. And salads, I just like salads, and obviously the meats, you know, salmon, chicken, steak, delicious. And every now and then I'll enjoy a nice little burger and some waffles or pancakes, you know. I love my carbs because that keeps me going.
Carbs are delicious.
Carbs are delicious.
Are you a pancake person or a waffle person?
Okay. I love waffles. Waffles are lovely. They're amazing. But I mean, taking a fluffy pancake and just stacking them up on your plate.
You're absolutely right, man. I love waffles because there's like little compartments for things that you can put in there.
And it's just a nice word.
Yeah.
But
waffles.
Exactly. But pancakes, they're fluffy, they're round. You can stack them up and put butter in between each and slather the syrup on. It's just so delicious.
So going back to like your family life, your dad's a freaking Olympian.
Yes.
That's nuts. Your mom's a paddler. And you've just had, does it feel like you've had a very encouraging upbringing where like they pushed you to join the sports in like a very encouraging way where it's like, do it now or you're not our son?
It was very encouraging because my dad, he's been through it and he knows that you need to have the heart in it if you want to actually win anything. And I know it might sound like a movie trope oh, the heart wins it all. But really, I mean, if you don't wanna be there, then at some point you're just not gonna, right? No matter how much you try and stay dedicated, you still need that little bit of motivation to keep it going, and that's what helps the real good athletes push that 110%, because they want to be there and want to give it everything. So my dad, he knew that he wanted me to stay active after his lifestyle. He thought it's so important, and so he obviously started me in it, but then he gave me the choice to do what I wanted, right? He was a swimmer. He loved swimming. He kept us in swimming for such a long time, yet when I chose that I didn't want to do swim, when my older brother, also who swam with us, chose he didn't want to swim either anymore, my dad was okay with it, because he knew that if we're going with what we want, then he'll be happy. So as long as we're doing what we need and happy with what we're doing, then it's all good. So he knew that we're going to a sport that we liked more, and he appreciated that more than pushing us, making a whole fuss about it. Well, I go to St. John's, so it's a lot smaller, like 50 kids in my class. And so almost everyone hangs out with everyone. There's very little segregation with, oh, you're an athlete or a nerd. Honestly, we just see people as people usually, and just know that they got their own little personality, and it's all fun to join together, you know? And honestly, if you ask me, I would not ever want to hang out with just athletes for like a year or something, because I want that that variety in the conversations. I want things to change. If I'm repeating myself, doing the same thing over and over, I start to get a little insane, you know? I really appreciate how a bunch of people have different outlooks, and that's what makes a good conversation. All these different athletes, and they have different appreciations for their sport. Like, I see someone doing rock climbing or ninja, and they do some lache, grab something, and I'm like, whoa, that's insane. Someone else watching, they'll just see that, what happened? Well, they're just hanging on. They don't understand it as much. And so that makes me see like, okay, yeah, I don't understand this sport as much, but you know, it's all about how these people are pushing their limits in each sport. And that's what really makes me appreciate each sport, is just that it's people finding their boundaries and then trying to push them as far as they can.
Have you ever just like felt unmotivated to do things?
So many times. I mean, most recently, there's a rock climbing comp a few days ago, and I was stuck on this one problem for maybe an hour. And the issue is, yeah, I was tired, I was dying in there, but it was my mentality, because really, your muscles are nothing if you don't have that brain to drive it, right? Your brain's the thing commanding it all. So when I realized that I was telling myself I couldn't do it, then my muscles wouldn't go with me, and I just wasn't able to, because I was so locked out. My brain was so fried, and I just didn't think it was possible. And when it comes to those situations where I think I don't want to be here and I'm too tired, it's happened many times. When I'm working out after school, oh, I had a test, I should just go home and sleep or something. Sometimes it is good, you need your rest, but often it's trying to rely on that motivation every single day just doesn't work, because there's days that you won't find it. And if you do find it every single day, then it just becomes normal, it becomes bland, and then it's not as motivating, right? You get it every single day, it's nothing new. Motivation is something that comes along and you see it and you're like, wow, I really do need to exercise. I really should put some passion into this. It's something that comes around when you need that boost. So what you need is a base to already rely on, which is that dedication. You get inspired to start working towards a goal, and once you realize what you need and what you want to do, then you get dedicated and you make a schedule, you make a plan, and then you keep going with it. And every time you feel low, you look at something, you need that little motivation, and that'll keep you going. But all motivation is, it's that little push to give you 110%. Dedication is what keeps you going every single day. I walk into the gym and I think, man, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to sleep. I don't even want to touch the holds. I don't want to grab a pull-up bar and do some pull-ups. I'm too tired. And what I realize is that I just got to start. I just got to start moving, because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to do it. I don't think that it's an option. I just know it's going to happen. And when I have it set as it's going to happen, every little moment I sit waiting is just delaying the inevitable, basically. And so knowing that it's going to happen really helps me push. That's where dedication comes in play heavily.
Damn.
Building a morning routine, making that a habit, it's something it's something you stay dedicated to. You do it constantly, and it's just easier when it's a habit, because your body will naturally flow into it. So having years and years of movement, having years of doing this over and over, the making it repetitive makes it a habit, and that just makes it easier to flow into it. So for sure, it starts to get easier as you go on, but it's going to be hard to start. That's why in the beginning, it's a lot of dedication to build that habit. All it is building up to that habit that will keep you consistent. I think as most athletes hope to grow stronger and stronger until you get to that professional stage and go past that. But where it started was, it was just a little thing. I would grab some 10-pound weights and do some bench pressing, just little 10-pound weights. But for me, that was hard. I could barely even move them. And then I use the same weight and I do curls. It was just hammering in exercises, and I would feel sore. And that's what really helped, is that I could feel the pain of working out and start to understand that drive I needed. And so even though the workouts weren't optimal, they weren't what I really needed, I was there and I was putting in the effort. I just didn't know really what to do. But all that matters is I was putting in the effort. So as I grew, that dedication, right, it made me build a workout plan, and I started to understand what I need to do so I could use that same effort and then just make this plan I can stick to, and it kind of just helped me keep going. So it really does start small, but as long as the heart's there, right, that's the only thing that doesn't change too much, is that the heart is in it and it stays in it the whole time. The only thing that's changing is your knowledge, and that's where the dedication really grows, because you start sticking to plans and you start building off that. And once you get far enough, you start to realize, like, you can't give up now. You're so far in, and so that helps the dedication a lot, because you're not going to let down all you've done. You've talked to people. People have seen you grow, and some people say that they're inspired by you, or they say they're so proud of you. And every time I think of dropping, every time I think of quitting, I think of the people and what they would say. I think of the pressures, because sometimes peer pressure, it isn't horrible. It's only bad when it's pushed to a bad thing. But when I feel all the weight of people saying how I'm doing good and all that, I think of how I'm letting them down every time I want to let myself down. And so that's one thing that grows a lot.
What are like some things that you're in love with in the process of you growing?
Things I love.
Yeah.
There's so much to love. I mean, besides just opening up all these doors in life, that's easy enough to love, but it really does help your life, which is something that I think most people can love. It improves how you feel. Every day you'll feel active, you'll feel ready for the day, you're prepared, and just coming at your everyday life with that heart, with that motivation to push through, it really helps. It makes you want to talk to people. It makes you open up and feel more loose. You feel like you're free. And I think that's a feeling that a lot of people like to chase. My dad is Chamorro and my mom is white. The Chamorro identity, right? I think the strongest connection it has is just that family. And so that mindset that when I walk in the gym or when I just see people on the street, you can just say good morning, just say hi. And it doesn't hurt anything, it doesn't hurt anyone. They're not gonna like scream at you for it. And it's just to realize that everyone is they're all a good person. Sometimes you make a bad decision, but at the heart, most people are good. And having that, it really is important to treat everyone almost like family and stay connected. Rai in the Chamorro language means king.
Oh, nice.
Which is a strong name, I think, and I'm trying to build my best efforts to make it suit me well.
It's working, man.
Thank you.
Your name really suits what's happening at each and every moment, man.
Thank you.
Do you speak Chamorro?
Do I speak? No, I don't, which is the sad thing, right? The culture is being lost very, very rapidly, and it's lovely to see that the efforts are coming back to try and build it stronger, but I still feel honestly kind of bad talking about how the culture, we need to gain it again when I haven't taken strides to learn the language. Yeah, a few passing phrases, the easy like yes, no, and then the funny words that, that we learned. My grandma speaks Chamorro, so she's taught us a few little funny words. But that's just honestly things that come around after you've lived on an island long enough. And I think we for sure need to take actual strides to really learn it. My oldest brother, Luca, he actually went to Harao, which is a Chamorro, immersive school, and he learned a good amount of the language. He can understand most things when said to him. So I think it's very important to learn the language, because when the language dies out, you can't really get the culture back once the language is gone. And I think the culture is really strong. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful culture.
It's a beautiful culture.
I love the way the people think, the way society was set up. It really shows the actual genius and strength of the Chamorro people. So I think the culture is very strong.
Is there, okay, so for the people listening, there are usually people who are Chamorro, with, a few exceptions of people that just like really care about the issues on Guam and the Marianas.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of people that are good people, they do good, and they always just want to like expand and learn. Do you have anything to say for them?
Okay. If you want to expand and learn, the only way you can really learn is just getting out there, right? There's trial and error. You can go test the waters and figure things out on your own. But one of my favorite, and I think the best way to learn, is from other people. That's why we have teachers, right? Because they take their experiences and try and help you, because when you can learn from their experience, it takes a little bit of that load off. You don't have to go figure it out on your own. And if you do try, at least you have a little bit of knowledge going into it. Mm-hmm. So going to people with different perspectives, as I was saying, right? I just love talking to people who have different lives, because it shows a lot, and you can learn a lot when you see all these contrasting points of view, right? You really, really need to just see the full picture of life, because there's a lot to offer. There's so many paths. There's infinite paths you can take. And so knowing that you're set on one, it's really good to see how other people have gone about taking on their life, and it can really help affect yours. So some of the best ways to learn is really just get out there and talk. That's why the climbing gym's a great place to learn. You don't just learn how to climb, you talk to people and see how they are attacking like the problems, the rock climbing problems, and you can see how they're just not just going about the rock climbing problems, but going about their life. You can see how people have their different mentalities on how they push individually, and you can take the good points of that.
How do you do with failure? So I remember just a few people going to the gym, and they would fall, and they would just sit down and mope for a really long time. And it's come to a point where when I do orientation, I'll tell people if you fall, it is okay. How do you see failure, or is failure, so to say, in your vocabulary?
Oh, it's a word I use very often. Failure is so important, because if you don't fail, how do you know you're even succeeding, right? There's never a high point if everything is just flat, if you just plateau on that good plane. You need to have those little divots where it says failure if you really want to know where that peak is. So having failure is so, so important. You learn, obviously you learn, right? I once climbed up a shelf to try and reach something on the top when I was a little child. It toppled over. I learned, okay? I fell. I physically reached down into a little divot, into a little slope, and then I got back up. I stood back up, and I was like, okay, no more climbing on things that are wobbly, right?
Honestly.
You really gotta fall to know how to get back up, right? And if you don't learn to fail, then when it actually comes, because no one's gonna go about life without failing, right? There's always gonna be a point. From small to big things, there's always going to be a point, and it's best to learn how to take failure now, so that way you can be better suited when it comes about later in life. You've never really lived if you haven't gone out there and pushed through those hard things and felt life.
Honestly, because then maybe you just sit somewhere you kind of wish you did fail all those things.
Yeah.
And we don't want that for anyone.
All the time.
Yeah.
And if you get to failure, right, you'll know what it feels like, and you'll know you might not want to do that again. Right? And so that will be a big motivator to keep going. And I think the big thing is why people don't like failure and think of it such a bad word, because they're kind of scared of what others will think. You're not scared of failing on your own, you're scared of what people will think if you fail. I think that's the biggest part. And so when you come to, for me, in my life, it'd be rock climbing or ninja. Let's say ninja, right? I'm at the gym and I'm swinging on bars, right, and I fall off, that'd be failure, right? I have a course, I have an obstacle, and I mess up, I fail. No one really laughs at you. No one's going to point and put it online, and no one's going to clown you for it. They're going to tell you to get back up. And when everything's said and done, what you're going to do later, you're going to come back and you're going to try that obstacle over and over until you finally get it and you understand how it goes, because failure is it's a step in life. And so you need that to keep climbing up. It's really important. People shouldn't be scared of it.
People shouldn't be scared, or they should be scared?
They should not be scared of failure, because people surrounding you, if you're not with people that will bring you back up after you fail, then you're not with the right people. You need to find people who will support you through that.
What are some things that you look for, or like what kind of people do you vibe with?
Honestly, I try to vibe with most people. Because I mean, if I think that, oh, this is a weird kind of person, or they're cringe or corny or something, that's only for me. I just see it that way. So maybe what I do, they'll see it the same way. I just like to think that everyone has their own little interests and loves, and it just depends on how passionate they are about it. So maybe I don't share that passion for the certain respect. I don't agree with what they want to put their energy towards, but I agree that I put my energy towards things, so we can convey what we each like, and that's always a good time. I think I surround myself with people who try to move forward in life.